Have you ever smiled at someone, only to feel a strange chill in your gut? Like their eyes were lying, even when their words sounded kind. What if that uneasy feeling wasn't just in your head, but a powerful warning from your intuition? In this video, WWE will uncover 8 disturbing signs that someone close to you secretly hates you. Not dislikes, hates. And the scariest part? These people are often the ones who pretend to clap the loudest. Their words sound sweet, but their energy drains you. Their hugs feel tight, but their intentions are cold. So why should you watch until the end? Because most people miss the subtle signs until they're betrayed, broken, or emotionally exhausted. You'll learn how sarcasm is sometimes a weapon, false kindness hides deep resentment, and even body language can scream what lips won't say. Sign number 8 will completely flip how you see people, and more importantly, how you protect yourself from hidden envy, silent competition, and fake love disguised as care. If you've ever felt the tension between someone's words and their energy, this video will give you the clarity and power you've been searching for. Stay with me. This could change everything. If you haven't subscribed to our channel yet, please click the subscribe button and ring the notification bell to stay updated on all our latest content. Chapter 1. Sarcasm and Contempt. The poison behind the joke. You're too sensitive. Relax, I was just joking. How many times have you heard those words thrown your way, disguised as something innocent, almost playful, yet they leave a sting that lingers deep in your soul? At first, you try to brush it off. You laugh nervously. You force a smile. You convince yourself they didn't mean it that way. But somewhere deep inside, it hurts. And it keeps happening. Let me say something you might have needed to hear for a long time. Those aren't jokes. They're not playful teasing. They're emotional weapons, sharp and intentional, wrapped in the disguise of humor. And the scariest part, they're often delivered by the very people who claim to care about you. These people know exactly where your scars are, your weight, your past, your family, your failures. They study your wounds and poke them repeatedly, not to heal you, but to make themselves feel powerful. And when they laugh, and others laugh along, you feel completely alone in that moment of humiliation. You want to say something, but if you do, you're instantly labeled as too sensitive, dramatic, or insecure. They flip the script on you. Suddenly, you're the problem, not the person constantly digging into your soul with so-called jokes. Let's be honest here, this isn't light-hearted banter. This is emotional manipulation dressed in wit. Carl Jung once said, "Everything that irritates us about others can lead us to an understanding of ourselves." But what happens when someone refuses to understand themselves? They project that irritation outward. They dump it all onto you. And worse, they make you feel guilty for reacting to their cruelty. Their sarcasm isn't comedy, it's contempt. It's a clever form of dominance. It's control. And their laughter? It's not real. It's a mask, a cover, a way to make you question your reality while they slowly wear down your self-worth. If their jokes always leave you second-guessing yourself, if you find yourself anxious before seeing them, rehearsing how you'll respond to their jokes. If you've ever laughed with them in public but cried when you got home alone, that's not friendship. That's psychological warfare. They aren't joking. They are hurting you consistently, quietly, and without ever leaving a visible bruise. But emotional bruises? They're just as real and often more painful. Chapter 2. Subtle Sabotage. The knife in the back, wrapped in concern. Have you ever had a friend who forgot to tell you something important? Something that could have made a huge difference in your life? Or someone who gave you advice that led to disappointment, frustration, or even failure, but then claimed it was all just an honest mistake? They missed your promotion party. They were too busy to come to your big event. They didn't show up when it truly mattered. Again and again. One time? Sure, life gets in the way. Twice? Maybe they did have an emergency. But when it becomes a pattern 3 times, 4 times. Every time it's no longer forgetfulness. It's not just bad luck, it's intentional sabotage. But the worst part is that they don't stab you in the back. They hug you while doing it. They smile, offer soft words of encouragement, and pretend they're cheering you on while quietly planting seeds of doubt and steering you off course behind the scenes. Carl Jung once warned that people who feel inferior will often try to pull others down instead of raising themselves. And that truth hits hard when you realize someone in your circle may be that person. You take one step forward and they get uncomfortable. You succeed and they get quiet. You glow and they dim the lights around you. So what do? They hold you back, not with harsh words, but with gentle sabotage. They forget to pass on information. They give advice that subtly undermines you. They pretend to support you, but never show up when it counts. And every time they follow it with, "I was just trying to help. I didn't know it was that important. You should have reminded me." But deep down, they know exactly what they're doing. What makes this form of betrayal so chilling is that they look like your biggest cheerleader. On the outside, they seem like your support system. But inside, they are the quiet storm, a slow, constant erosion of your confidence, your progress, your dreams. If someone consistently delays your growth, diminishes your accomplishments, or feeds your self-doubt under the guise of concern, that's not care. That's control. It's insecurity masquerading as support. They don't want to lose you, but only as long as you stay beneath them. And that realization, it breaks your heart, because these are often people you trust, people you let into your sacred space. And now you see the truth. They never wanted to help you fly, they only wanted to keep you grounded. Chapter 3, Silent Competition, when every win becomes a war. Have you ever shared a moment of joy, an accomplishment, a promotion, a personal breakthrough with someone you thought would be happy for you, only to feel an invisible wall go up between you? You expect excitement, a smile, maybe a hug. You want to celebrate a win, no matter how big or small, with someone close to you. But instead of joy, you're met with a cold dismissive, "Oh yeah? Guess what I just did?" Suddenly your moment isn't yours anymore. It's been hijacked. Your light begins to shine, and like clockwork, they scramble to dim it. You rise, and instantly, they raise themselves higher, not to lift you, but to overshadow you. Not to cheer you on, but to remind you that they need to stay a step ahead. It's subtle. It's quiet, but it's unmistakable. A slightly forced smile, a shift in tone that sounds supportive but feels hollow. A casual comparison that leaves you wondering, why do I feel worse now? That's not an accident. That's silent competition. Carl Jung once said, "Everything that irritates us about others can lead us to an understanding of ourselves." But let's be honest, some people aren't ready to understand themselves. Instead of self-reflection, they go to war. And the battlefield? It's your happiness. Because what they see in you, your momentum, your ambition, your joy, is everything they've neglected or lost within themselves. They're not mad that you're winning. They're mad that your success exposes their stagnation. So, what do? They turn every moment into a scoreboard. Every compliment becomes a competition. Every success you share triggers a quiet shift in energy. They can't help themselves. They can't clap for you because deep down, they're keeping score. And when they see you advancing, thriving, they don't celebrate. They compete, silently, relentlessly, almost reflexively. The worst part is, you didn't sign up for this game. You weren't trying to outshine anyone. You were just living your truth, finally stepping into the light after maybe years of struggle, pain, or self-doubt. If you are still watching this video and find these lessons helpful, please comment number 1 below to let me know that you are still watching this video with me. But to them, your rise feels like their fall. Your success becomes their shame. Your happiness turns into their trigger. If you constantly feel like your wins spark tension instead of joy, If sharing your good news suddenly makes the room feel colder, if you find yourself downplaying your victories just to keep the peace you're not growing with a friend, you're defending yourself from a quiet enemy. Because real support doesn't compete with you, it claps for you, genuinely, without comparison. True friends don't feel smaller when you rise. They grow with you. They cry tears of pride for your progress. They cheer for your light because they know it doesn't dim theirs. But ego-drenched people, they wrestle for attention, in silence. They wear a mask of support, but beneath it lies jealousy, insecurity, and a desperate need to win, even if it means stepping on you to do it. If every celebration turns into an awkward silence, if every victory is followed by their need to one-up you, then you're not in a friendship. You're in a competition you never agreed to enter. And trust me, you don't need to shrink just to make someone else feel tall. You deserve to rise, to celebrate, to shine without guilt. You deserve people who light up when you win, not people who silently resent your glow. This isn't support. It's ego wrestling in disguise, and it will exhaust your soul if you let it. Chapter 4, Superficial Kindness, the smile that never reaches the eyes. They say all the right things. I'm so proud of you. I'm happy for you. Wow, that's amazing. But something inside you hesitates. You want to believe them. You want those words to mean something, but your heart, it just doesn't buy it. Because deep down, you feel it. The disconnect, the cold edge behind the warm words. Their smile doesn't reach their eyes. Their tone lacks soul. And when you truly need someone to show up, not just in words, but in presence, they're nowhere to be found. This is what I call hollow love. The kind that looks good on the surface, but leaves you starving underneath. Genuine people don't just offer words. They offer themselves. They show up in the mess. They hold your hand in grief. They scream with joy when you win. They feel with you, walk with you, sit with you through the silence when there are no words. But fake friends? They vanish. They're missing in your highest moments, when you just need someone to look you in the eye and say, "You did it." They're absent when life breaks you in half, and all you need is someone to sit beside you while you cry. And when they are around, their energy feels wrong, cold, robotic, like they're following a script. Carl Jung called this ego dissociation a deep emotional disconnect, where a person becomes so detached from real feeling that they can no longer connect authentically with the human experience. They don't hate you, but they're also not capable of truly loving you. They hover around your life, saying all the right lines, but they never offer what matters: presence, empathy, vulnerability, connection. It's like being in a play where everyone knows their lines, but no one feels their part. And you're the only one who realizes the applause is fake. If someone's kindness always feels automatic, like a copy and paste reply to your life's most sacred moments, then you're not in a friendship, you're in a performance. And no matter how perfectly they play their role, you will always feel the hollowness behind their smile. Because love without presence is an illusion, and illusions don't hold you when life gets heavy. Chapter 5, Controlling Through Care, the most dangerous manipulation. It always starts so softly, doesn't it? This is for your good. One day, you'll understand. I just don't want to see you get hurt. The words are gentle, comforting even. They sound like love, like protection. But something deep inside you flinches. Something in your spirit tenses. Because even though they say they care, you start to feel smaller around them. Your shoulders slump, your confidence fades. You begin second-guessing your choices, doubting your voice. That's not love. That's not care. That's control in disguise. They don't yell. They don't threaten. They use something far more dangerous: influence. They wrap themselves around you like a velvet rope, slowly, gently, whispering lullabies of worry while tightening their grip on your freedom. You share a bold idea, they say it's too risky. You speak your dream, they call it unrealistic. You make a decision, they suggest you're being naive. And the most terrifying part? Sometimes their words make sense. Sometimes their logic sounds mature, even wise. And because of that, you start giving away your power without realizing it. You go from trusting your intuition to needing their approval. You stop moving unless they say it's safe. Carl Jung warned us those who cannot manage their inner chaos often seek to control others, because domination gives them a false sense of stability. They don't fix their storm, they try to cage yours. It's not that they believe in your growth, they believe in their grip. And so, they play the long game. They don't demand. They condition. They build a world around you where you start thinking, I should check with them first. I can't make that move without their input. What if I'm wrong and they're right? But let me ask you something that may shake you awake. If their love constantly makes you feel weaker, smaller, and more unsure of yourself, is that truly love? Because real support gives you wings. It tells you you've got this. It lets you fall, but it never lets you feel alone. False care gives you chains. It tells you, do it my way, or else. It makes you afraid to fly at all. Real love says, even if you fall, I'll still be here. Fake love says, just stay grounded, it's safer. But the truth is, it's safer for them, not for you. So if someone always wants to decide your path, influence your pace, shape your thoughts, and they always wrap it in the language of concern, please take a step back and ask. If you are still watching this video and find these lessons helpful, please comment number 2 below to let me know that you are still watching this video with me. Are they protecting me, or are they protecting their control over me? Because one comes from love, and the other, it's a cage with velvet walls. Chapter 6, Gossip, Criticism, What They Say When You're Not Around. You walk into a room, heart open, maybe even smiling, but something instantly feels off. The air thickens. Smiles fade just a second too late. Eyes meet yours, then dart away. No one says a word, but their silence? It screams. You don't need anyone to tell you what happened. You already know. Something's been said. Something about you, and whatever it wasn't the truth. It was twisted, poisoned, whispered into the ears of people who once clapped for you. This is the dark art of gossip. It doesn't shout. It slithers, silently, strategically, and selfishly. It's what people do when they lack the courage to confront you, but still want to control how others see you. So, instead of coming to you like an adult, they choose the coward's path. They don't attack your actions. They attack your character. They won't argue with what you did. They'll question who you are. They'll take your words out of context. They'll plant seeds of doubt in others' minds. They'll distort your light just enough to make it look suspicious in someone else's eyes. And they'll do it all with a smile, because that's how it works, friendly to your face, venomous behind your back. But why? Carl Jung saw this sea. He said, the brighter your light, the darker your shadow becomes in the eyes of others. Some people can't stand your truth, not because it's wrong, but because it's bold, because you dare to show up with clarity, with confidence, with purpose. You've done the work. You've embraced your healing. You've started walking in alignment with your values. And that kind of authenticity, it makes the unhealed deeply uncomfortable. Insecure people don't try to rise to your level. They try to mute your energy, so they don't feel so small in comparison. So they gossip, because your growth threatens their comfort. Your presence exposes their absence. Your confidence triggers your doubt. And your peace, it disturbs the chaos they've made peace with. So they don't fight fair. They fight from the shadows. They engage in backdoor warfare, stabbing you with words you'll never hear and then shaking your hand like nothing ever happened. But here's the truth. No one tells you. Gossip says more about the speaker than the subject. You're not on trial. They are. Whole people who are at peace with themselves don't feel the need to tear others down just to feel tall. But people who are deeply wounded and too afraid to heal, they project, they point fingers, they poison. And the worst part, they gather others in their misery, not to find clarity, but to form a distorted chorus that makes their lies feel more legitimate. So the next time you sense the shift, the next time a room goes cold, or a conversation dies when you enter, the next time people glance at you with eyes that used to be kind, remember this: their whispers are not your shame, they are their cry for help, a reflection of their battles they refuse to face. And while they gossip, you walk. While they twist stories, you stand in truth. While they drag your name through the mud, you keep rising with grace, with purpose, with silence that screams dignity. Because of your silence, it's the sound of class, it's power, it's restraint, and it echoes louder, deeper, and more powerfully than any rumor ever could. So let them talk. Let them twist. Let them throw shadows. Because you were born to shine, and real light doesn't flicker in the presence of darkness. Chapter 7. No joy in your success. The emotional absence that speaks volumes. They were there when you were down and out, when your eyes were heavy from crying, when you had no direction, no confidence, no plan, when life was breaking you apart piece by piece. They were there. They sat with you in your pain, shared their stories of struggle, helped carry your burdens, or at least made you feel like they did. And back then, their presence felt like love. But something shifted when you started to rise. You began healing. You stood a little taller. You dared to dream again. You found your footing, found your fire, and started walking toward the life you used to only imagine. You should have felt celebrated. But instead, you were met with silence. No "I'm proud of you," no cheer, no support, not even a genuine smile. You send them the good news, heart full of hope, and all you get is a cold cool. You share that you landed the job, published the book, hit the goal, and they nod, barely listening, before changing the subject. You feel it instantly. That emotional vacuum, that chilling absence of enthusiasm, that quiet void where love used to live. And honestly, it hurts deeply. You start asking yourself, what did I do wrong? Why do I feel guilty for growing? But here's the truth you may not want to face. It's not that you changed, it's that your growth made them uncomfortable. When you were low, you were safe. You were relatable. You posed no threat to their self-image. Your struggles made them feel better about where they were in life. But now that you're thriving, now that you're glowing, you remind them of everything they're not. Everything they could have been if they had chosen growth over comfort. They can't clap for you because your light shines too bright against the shadow of their unhealed wounds. Your progress feels like your personal failure. Your joy reflects their stagnation. They may say the right things. That's amazing, good for you, but their energy will always tell the truth. Their eyes won't light up. Their tone will feel flat, disconnected. And somewhere deep inside, you'll feel it, that cold wall of quiet resentment. Carl Jung said it perfectly. If someone cannot rejoice in your joy, they are battling an internal war. Your success becomes a mirror, and when they look into it, they don't see your happiness. They see their own missed opportunities, their fear, their excuses, their comfort zone turned into a cage. So instead of rising with you, they retreat. Not because you've become arrogant or distant, but because your change reminds them they didn't change. And that realization, it's too painful for their ego to bear. It's heartbreaking, I know, to realize that the same people who held you in your darkest moments can't seem to walk beside you in the light. But the truth is, some people love the version of you that needed saving. They loved the one who struggled, who leaned on them, who stayed small enough to fit inside the roles they needed you to play. But growth demands space. It demands boundaries. It demands that we outgrow dynamics that once felt like love. So, If your success feels lonely, if you're celebrating in silence while the people you once leaned on keep their applause to themselves, know this. You didn't betray them by becoming better. They betrayed themselves by refusing to rise with you. And while it may hurt, please don't dim your light just to make others feel comfortable in their shadows. Shine anyway. Grow anyway. Celebrate anyway. Because you don't need their permission to be proud of how far you've come. And you certainly don't need their applause to validate your victory. Chapter 8. Body language, the truth. They can't hide. Words can lie. Smiles can be forced. Compliments can be rehearsed until they sound like poetry. But the body, oh, the body never lies. You see, when someone secretly doesn't like you, whether it's envy, resentment, competition, or deep-rooted dislike, they might never tell you with their lips. They'll say everything right. I'm so happy for you. You deserve this. You've come such a long way. But while their mouth is forming praise, their body is betraying them. That smile, it's too stiff, too controlled. It disappears before it even fully forms. Their eyes, they don't sparkle. They avoid yours. They glance past you like they're somewhere else entirely. Their bodies shift just slightly away from yours. Their tone feels flat, rehearsed, robotic. And their energy, it feels wrong, heavy, cold, off. You feel it in the room the moment they walk in. Before a single word is spoken, your spirit senses the truth your mind can't quite put into words. And no, you're not being dramatic. You're not imagining things. What you're experiencing is one of the most ancient, most powerful survival tools. We were all born with intuition. Carl Jung said it best. The unconscious always speaks through the body. Even when someone lies with their words, their body leaks the truth. Here's what no one tells you. When a person harbors envy, hate, or secret competition toward you, their nervous system reacts instantly. They may be smiling on the outside, but the body sends silent distress signals. Their jaw tightens a sign they're suppressing something. Their shoulders rise, their body tensing up without permission. Their breathing gets shallow because deep down, they're uneasy. They blink too fast or break eye contact when you speak. They look away when you talk about your joy. They clap a second too late, or not at all. They hug you, but you don't feel a single drop of warmth. Their body leans away, subtly recoiling from your energy. If you are still watching this video and find these lessons helpful, please comment on number 3 below to let me know that you are still watching this video with me. These aren't coincidences. These are emotional micro-signals built into the very wiring of the human experience. Your intuition picks up on these things long before your brain catches on. It's how our ancestors sensed danger in a room, even if no one drew a weapon. Because back then, before we had language, before we had words, we had instincts. And even now, when someone around you is secretly not for you, you still feel it. In your stomach, that twist of unease. In your chest, that pressure that tightens when you're near them. In the temperature of the room, how the warmth fades the moment they enter. You feel suddenly tired, on edge, maybe even confused because everything they say sounds friendly, but everything they say feels threatening. That disconnection between their words and their energy, that's the glitch in the matrix. That's your warning. But here's the sad truth. Most people ignore it. Why? Because we've been taught to prioritize politeness over perception, to listen to people's words instead of honoring what our body already knows, to give the benefit of the doubt even when our intuition is screaming, "Pay attention!" We tell ourselves, they didn't mean it that way. Maybe I'm just overthinking. Don't be paranoid. But let me tell you something I've had to learn the hard way. Your body will always tell you the truth. And if someone's energy makes you shrink, doubt, or disconnect from your joy, believe it. Because you can fake words, you can fake tone, you can fake smiles, but you can't fake soul. So the next time you walk into a room and everything inside you feels off, don't ignore that feeling. Don't dismiss it as paranoia. Don't silence your spirit to be polite. Because of your intuition, it's not a flaw. It's not a weakness. It's divine protection. And the more you listen to it, the more you'll realize you've always known who's really for you and who's been clapping with a clenched jaw and a frozen heart. So now that you've seen the signs, what did you learn about the people around you? More importantly, what did you learn about yourself? This wasn't just about spotting fake smiles or subtle competition. This was about honoring your intuition, protecting your peace, and finally recognizing the difference between real love and disguised resentment. You've walked through the silent wars, the heavy rooms, the fake applause, and the hugs that felt hollow. And maybe, just maybe, you've started to realize that not everyone who stands beside you is cheering for you. So let me ask you, which truth hit you the hardest? Was it the sarcasm disguised as humor? The celebration that turned into quiet jealousy? Or the body language that exposed what words tried to hide? Take a moment, breathe, reflect. Then, in the comments below, share just one thing you've learned and one way you plan to apply it in your life starting today. Let's grow together by giving each other the courage to trust what we feel, even when it's hard. And if this video gave you clarity, comfort, or the push you didn't know you needed, please leave your comment below and don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to our YouTube channel. We've only just scratched the surface. More real talk, more truth, and more healing is on the way. You're not alone. And now, you're not in the dark anymore.